Hey guys, Joe here and welcome back to some more Pokemon Shield. So I've got a few things to say about this one. I want to apologize for the fact that I didn't upload yesterday, first of all. The reasoning behind that is because I've recently found out that I lost the audio for a lot of these videos. And I know exactly the cause of it now, so it shouldn't happen from here onwards, but there were a few episodes between now and I believe around like part 10 and maybe a bit afterwards. I think around part 10 where where I had to do post commentary, and of course the first episode that has post commentary is the longest episode so far. So unfortunately these reactions are not going to be blind, so to speak, but I'm going to be commentating over the game for this episode and a couple of the other ones coming up. And yeah, I'm about as frustrated as you guys might be for it. So here Hop gives us, I think, our first TM of the game, which is Swift, which I think is a new TM. I don't think Swift has been a TM since Johto, so that's been kind of cool. We're about to get the train to Wedgehurst at the moment, and at this point I think I commented on how how these train systems look very similar to how they do in England, which is really cool. Like as soon as I saw as soon as I saw that sort of system, it looked exactly the same as it does in England, which is pretty cool. Then our mothers stopped by and they're telling us that, like, oh, you guys are going on the gym challenge? Well, I mean, I knew this since you chose Sobble as your starter. And I think they're going to give us something here. Yeah, they're going to give us a little gift. They're going to give us a camping kit, which we will use later on in this. We'll use later on in the series. Takes me a little bit to actually remember how it's used, but we do get to experience that a little bit later in the series. Don't worry. Camping is a new mechanic, and there's a lot of cool things you can do with it, and it's a really fun. It's a really fun concept. I hope the audio for that episode doesn't get lost, because if it does, it's going to be hard for me to recreate my reactions to that. And Hop's going on about how he thinks, how he knows he's going to be the next champion, and how his mother's going to be so ecstatic and proud that she's going to be the mother to brothers of champions. But of course, we want to be the champion too, so we're going to make sure we try and stop that. So, do we get a cutscene on the train? Yes, we do, and it's a pretty cool cutscene. Here we are, just playing on our what are they? Rotom Dexes? I'm not sure. Maybe just our mobile phones. I can't tell what they are. And here we get the introduction to the wild area. Right outside of here, we can camp, as you can see there. There's also obviously the first wild area where there's going to be a large amount of Pokemon where which we can capture and things like that. Gotta tell you, the commentary for this one's going to be very, very out of it compared to normal. Alright, so yeah, this is the wild area, but we cannot go straight to Wedgehurst because of course there's a flock of Wooloo on the tracks. Which means that we are forced to go through the wild area. And yeah, this is the best possible place to put together the greatest team. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'm definitely not getting my whole team here. As I've stated a good few times before, I'm not going to be using any non-Galar Pokemon on my team. So we're just sort of exploring the area for now, talking to people, and this woman says that we'll run into stronger Pokemon than we can actually encounter normally through the wild area, which means that some of these Pokemon in the wild area we won't actually be able to defeat or even catch, because it would make the game too broken, but also because, what is it? But also, I honestly, my train of thought's been completely lost. I'll be honest. It is so much harder to do post-commentary. I've forgotten how hard it is. It has been way too long. Also, because the audio is lost, I'm probably just going to put a bunch of like secondary audio in this video as well, like for background. I mean, as you've probably already noticed in the nearly 5 minutes. And I think at this point, all I was saying in my commentary was, please just let me move. I want to explore the wild area. I'm really excited. And Sonia says that she was being, that her mother was giving her a talking to, and asking what the hell she was doing with her life, which I did find kind of funny. And yeah, she's out on a quest to try and make sure her is it grandmother or mother? I actually can't remember what one she said, but whatever she said, she wants to try and you know, make her see that she actually does have some talent. Hop runs off to go challenge some Dynamax Pokemon, which we haven't really been introduced too much yet to, yeah, good luck with that. So there are these. Oh, actually, here we go. I actually would like to. Let's read this. Yeah. So I want to know how this works. Oh, I can. Oh, it's just the X button. Oh, so here's the thing. I have been struggling for this entire playthrough up until the point I've recorded so far to actually know how the box link works. It's similar to the one in Let's Go where you can access it from your bag. But here you cannot access it from your bag for some reason. You have to just press buttons in the overworld for it to work. Which is interesting. Anyway, we can finally get on the move here and we can explore the wild area. And the first thing we obviously find here is an Onix. We also get a jar of honey there. There's a bunch of hidden items which are located from like sparkly areas and stuff. Or sparkling lights. So yeah, if you try battling one, it seems like you're in over your head, run for the hills. That's why we were given those Pokédolls from Sonia, because then we can easily run away from the stronger Pokemon. Anyway, yeah, this Onix looks pretty tough, so why don't we attempt to challenge it? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, he seems pretty curious in us. So let's see what happens. And yeah, here we go. We got ourselves an Onix, a very strong-looking Onix. Let's see what we've got to deal with here. It's raining, and it's level 26, so yeah, obviously this isn't something that we're going to be messing around too much with, so we're going to immediately just use a Pokédoll and get out of here. Not all Pokemon in the wild area are going to be this strong. In fact, they're not like super common. They're not super common. The ones that are super strong, but some of them can be. You'll be able to tell if it's out of your depth by it saying a very strong-looking Pokemon. And the more gym badges you collect, the higher level Pokemon you'll be able to capture in the wild. We'll see a Wingull off to the left there, we'll be getting that in just a minute. But first we're going to shake this tree to get some berries and see if anything pops out from the tree. Because, I mean, why wouldn't it? Yep, and something's landed on our head, and it's this thing. A Scrovet, of course it is. The first thing I have to battle in this video that actually, I guess not, because we had the Onix. But the first thing I'm actively battling in this video is a Scrovet. And at this point, Yamper is not strong. Yeah. A lot of this video is going to be me doing a lot. Is me going to be doing a lot of training. I'll be honest. And yeah, Yamper is not the strongest right now. But I do really need an electric type on my team, so I'm definitely interested in trying to use Yamper. So we're going to switch him out, and we're going to send in our boy Grookey, of course, because, I mean, who else would we send in? I guess we could send in Nickit, but Nickit as well is not the strongest right now. Currently, Grookey is really the only powerful Pokemon we have on our team. I mean, yeah, the difference between Branch Poke's damage and Nuzzle's damage is quite severe. But yeah, this Scrovet's doing quite a number on my health, actually. And making me realize that, you know, I probably should not be battling all of these Pokemon, or at least trying to kill them, because our HP is going to take a huge downfall from it. We get a couple of level ups on the Pokemon we're not using, and apparently other Pokemon took all the cherry berries away, but luckily we get all the others. So we can, what am I trying to do? Yeah, I'm going to heal up Yamper and Grookey, because obviously their HP is not looking the best right now. Thank God I brought all those potions before I actually left for Wedgehurst, and it's time to actually see just how powerful this Wingull is. It's not a very strong looking one, so it should just be a normal one, and this should be an easy matchup for Yamper, hopefully, because it's a water flying type, so hopefully Nuzzle will do some decent damage. There's level 10, which is nearly higher than my whole team, actually. The only one who outlevels it is Grookey at 11. But yeah, there you go. There's some decent damage, bringing Wingull down to half health, and One good thing about Nuzzle is that it always paralyzes the opponent. But Wingull also has the ability Hydration, which, where in Rain, will cure status conditions, which sucks. And yeah, now we're just hoping that Yamper can outlive its attacks enough so that we can catch it. And Yamper's ability Ball Fetch comes in handy here, kind of. It's because I threw a Pokeball and it failed to capture Wingull. Yamper, apparently being a dog, actually caught the Pokeball, actually went and fetched the Pokeball for us, which is interesting to say the least. But yeah, this Wingull is still being a bit obnoxious. It's not killing Yamper yet though, which is promising. Really wish that paralysis stayed on it, because that would be handy right now. But we don't obviously want Yamper to faint, because we want it to get the experience from this. So we're going to switch him out for Nickit, because Nickit will actually be able to take a few hits. And yeah, the rain is obviously powering up the water, the water moves. I think I actually forgot about this going into it. I'm going to try and weaken it a bit more, since the Pokeballs clearly aren't working too much right now. But this water gun, unfortunately, will KO Nickit. So Nickit had to be sacrificed in order to get Yamper some actually decent experience for once. So let's just hope that its HP is down enough now that Yamper won't be taken out. I'm going to throw out a Pokeball and hope for the best. And this time, not even a single shake. This time it goes for Supersonic though, which is interesting. I didn't know Wingull would have Supersonic at this level. Luckily, I don't plan on attacking this thing anymore, so we're going to attempt to throw another Pokeball. This Wingull has genuinely taken up a lot of this episode already, probably like half the episode, just to catch up Wingull. We finally get it though, and we can finally move on past the first Pokemon. There's a lot of Pokemon in the wild area that I'm definitely wanting to capture. And, because obviously the goal is to try and complete the Pokedex as much as possible. And I'm just going to say, there is no way in heck that I have caught anywhere near all of the Pokemon in this, in the wild area. There is a lot I am definitely missing. But that's okay. I think we'll probably come back here in the later game to try and figure it out. And here I attempt to use the camping gear, but it doesn't work because I don't understand how the camping gear works. I'm probably going to have to look that up properly later on to make sure that I know how it works for the future. But anyway, with that done, it's time to move on. And we see a couple of new friends here. For example, a nice little Bunnelby. Bunnelby's a cute Pokemon. I do quite like Bunnelby. I think its evolution is weird, but I do kind of like it still. So at this point, I'm trying to remember if Bunnelby is currently a ground type. I end up remembering that it's only its evolution that's a ground type. So we're going to try and do the same trick again with Yamper. We're going to paralyze it with Nuzzle. Realize how weak Nuzzle is, and yeah, then regret actually using it. We're going to try using it one more time, but of course Bunnelby does go for Quick Attack, which doesn't do an insane amount of damage, which is nice, but yeah, we're going to try throwing a Pokeball here, seeing if we get lucky, because I don't want Yamper to be damaged too much more than he already is, or than she already is. I misgender my Pokemon way too much in this, guys, like, way too much. But, like, it's kind of difficult for me to always remember the genders of all the Pokemon. Grookey gets level 12, which is nice, and Nickit finally gets some nice experience, because it fainted last battle, so it didn't get any. But we also learned Razor Leaf, very nice grass type move, which will definitely be taking. To be level 12 in order to have 2 stabbed grass moves is quite useful. And yeah, there goes Bunnelby. So yeah, let's keep moving, because we have a lot of things to catch. There's a Pelipper there, but I kind of gathered that just because Wingull was in this area, I assumed Pelipper would be one of those 2 strong Pokemon. Then we find a note that says by using the right analog stick, we can actually move around here and can actually see a large, the whole view of the wild area, which is pretty neat. I do really enjoy that. Oh, look at me! I didn't actually notice that my guy was actually like putting his hand out to like feel the rain, which is pretty cool actually. I kind of like that. Next Pokemon we're going to be capturing in this route is a Pidove. Yeah, another chance for Yamper to get some hopefully okay experience to make it be somewhat useful. It's It's a flying type, so obviously Nuzzle's going to be super effective, but we just gotta survive quick attack first. So many potions in this video are going to be used on Yamper, and even that Nuzzle, despite being super effective, and a critical hit, barely, I think, just did a quarter of its HP. So yeah, not fun, but we're going to hope that that one attack is enough. We don't want to risk any more. And we're going to go for yet another Pokeball to hopefully capture this Pidove. And we do. So far that Wingull has caused more problems than anything else in this entire Let's Play. But hey, it got us some good experience. Yamper's up to 10 and gets Bite, which is brilliant. That's finally a decent powered attacking move that we can actually use. I think that's like 60 power. Compared to Nuzzle's, I think like 30 power or something. I think Nuzzle has 20 power, and then because it's stab, it's like 30. But yeah, there's another one. So let's see what else we got. Kind of looks like there's no other new Pokemon, and we can see here that there is our first Dynamax den right here. And there's an Ninjask there, which I would absolutely love to capture, but, you know, it's an Ninjask, and it's probably one of those 2 strong Pokemon. We'll probably come back and try and catch it another time, though. So yeah, these are the Pokemon dens, and they talk about Dynamax Pokemon, and, you know, they're really strong Pokemon that I don't really want to try and deal with right now. Because some people say that, like, they have to be done in, like, raids and things, like with multiple players. Obviously I'm alone, I don't really want to take that risk right now, because at this point I had no idea what Dynamax Pokemon exactly what was meant to be. But now I actually have some kind of idea of what they are, so I think I'd be comfortable going back to them and trying to take them on alone. You also saw we got some Watts, or some W's, which stand for Watts there. We can trade in those Watts for items from NPCs that are walking around the wild area, which is pretty cool. It's at this point that we encountered Pancham, and I do like Pancham. It's a Pokemon that I'd like to use in a series at some point. And I forget that even though Yamper finally gets Bite, which is a decent move, of course the first thing I use it on is a fighting type, because I'm just really smart like that. So yeah, both Bite and Nuzzle probably do about the same amount of damage. And at this point, I just I don't really want to trust that I can catch this thing yet. So we're gonna heal up Yamper. Hopefully this thing doesn't have any strong moves. Luckily, its paralysis keeps it alive. So let's try. What are we gonna do? Let's try and use another Nuzzle and try and weaken itself a bit more, so we can definitely capture it. At this point, I was a tad worried of its ability. I wasn't sure what Panjam's ability was, and I was worried it was going to be Guts. Because, obviously, if this thing had Guts, it would do double damage when paralyzed, which is not good. So we get Pancham. That was a critical hit, apparently. So we go for another Nuzzle, which is probably not the smartest idea, as this thing goes for Arm Thrust. Luckily, doesn't KO us, and it's at this point that I just decide, you know what? May as well take a risk. We don't want Yamper to die. We want it to get some nice experience. So let's hope for the best. We can capture this Pancham, and we do. So that is another one to the decks, and still, nothing has given us more trouble than a Wingull, which is shocking. Good amount of experience there for the entire team, which we'll definitely be needing, and another dex entry for the Pokédex. We've still got a long way to go though, so I don't think we're anywhere near completing it. Nothing else around here seems to be new. First thing we're going to do though is heal up Yamper, because why wouldn't we? And we're going to keep moving, and of course there is more Panchams. A lot of Pokemon in the wild area seem to be spawning in groups, which is kind of cool. You can probably get some interesting like screenshots and adventures through the wild area. But I don't really want to face this Pancham, but I feel like we're going to have to just to get some more experience for Yamper, and there's no way that Yamper can take this on her own. So we're of course sending Grookey. We got to get some experience, of course. I mean, we got the gym coming up at some point in the future, right? Right? Alright, so we're going to go for one Razor Leaf, and that does about half health. Honestly, that did a lot less than I was expecting, which made me a little worried. But of course, we need the experience, so we take it out. Okay. Nick gets a level, which is nice, level 11. And of course, Squirvet learns a new move. But we're not using any of the bottom 3 right now. So So at this point, I realized that Yamper is not going to be strong enough to take out any Pokemon. And it's probably best that we just swap it out. And let we just swap it out and let Grookey take over all the battles because she gets experience anyway, as long as she's alive in the party. Then we encounter a Tyrogue, which it just sort of runs up to us. I didn't even see it; it just sort of ran up to me. And Tyrogue is a pretty cool Pokemon. What's it doing? I don't even know what it's doing at this point. It's getting it used focus energy, right? I got really confused because I didn't see any text for it. Anyway, Tyrogue I know only used to know Tackle back in Generation 3. It's nice to see that Pokemon up to Gen 8 have now given it, more moves. So we're going to try and capture Tyrogue here, and hopefully we can add it to the dex. Gives us a little bit of trouble breaking it once, but doesn't really damage us too much, and another catches us. It's amazing how many Pokemon there actually are to capture in this game. I'm dreading someone doing the Professor Oak challenge for this. If you guys do not know what the Professor Oak challenge is, the idea of it is that the Tyrogue's running after us. Then we get 300 watts from that, and here we have a raid battle which we should go participate in. I'll explain the Professor Oak challenge in a minute. But it says if we defeat a Dynamax Pokemon, we have a chance of catching it, and then we also have, some items we can collect. And it says that it's probably best you take care of these max raid battles in groups. But yeah, I'm not in a group right now. Also, what the hell is that? Is that icon meant to be me? Because that doesn't look like me at all right now. I wonder if there's any way I can change that. Anyway, the raid battle is obviously a Hoothoot, but I don't really want to risk it. Especially with my only Pokemon that's strong against the Hoothoot being, terrible right now. This Tyrogue runs at us for some reason. Anyway, the Professor Oak challenge. The idea of the Professor Oak challenge is you're meant to capture every single Pokemon that's possible before each gym badge. So, for example, in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, before you face Brock, you're meant to have you should catch your starter, Pidgey, Rattata, Mankey, Spearow, Caterpie, Weedle, and Pikachu. And you cannot connect to other games, so you can't get like the other two starters. You're also, but that isn't the whole challenge. You also need to evolve all of those Pokemon to the final stage possible. So you need to complete the Pokedex as much as humanly possible before each gym badge. Did I not see that Roggenrola just there? If so, I'm an idiot. Because I just saw some new Pokemon pop out the ground, and I'm gonna regret myself if I don't catch those. So yeah, you have to evolve each Pokemon to their final form. So you'd have to have Pidgeot, Blastoise, for example, Raticate, Primeape, Butterfree, things like that in Fire Red and Leaf Green before the first gym badge. And yeah, try and imagine this game with the Professor Oak challenge is insane. There's a Palpitoad there, but let's face it, Palpitoad's probably too strong for us. But over here we do indeed find some new Pokemon. We find ourselves a Delibird. Delibird is an interesting Pokemon. Level 11, so I thought, okay, we'll go for Razor Leaf. Oh no, actually we'll go for Scratch, sorry. We'll go for Scratch first, and it does not too much damage. Goes for Present and fails for some reason. Or misses. So we go for another Scratch. And yeah, does a decent amount of damage again. Goes to Present and damages us for quite a large amount actually. So at this point, I think we could try throwing a ball, but I think Delibird has a high catch rate, so I try Razor Leafing it, which is not very effective, and it kills it. Which shocked me at the time, because a not very effective move should surely do less than a Scratch, but apparently not. And we kill our first Pokemon by accident. Get some nice experience, so I think we got a max of 200 there, which is pretty useful. But yeah, Delibird as our first failed capture, which really sucks. I mean, it's not like we were going to use it, so it's okay. We do have a lot of other Pokemon here that we can capture. For example, in this like Haley area, we have a Snorunt. Quite a few Snowunts around here. Level 14, which is really, really high level. Higher level than my entire team. It's quite amazing just how high level some of the wild Pokemon around here are. I really wasn't expecting it. So yeah, the Hail's going to do damage to us every turn. And Ice Body is Snorunt's ability, which means it gets healed every turn, which really sucks. Go for another Razor Leaf, bring it down to about the orange, and luckily it doesn't try to attack me with an ice move. And decreases my defense. Okay, so guess we should probably try and capture this guy pretty soon. We go for another Razor Leaf and hope it doesn't crit it. We get lucky and it goes down to red, and it finally hits us with an ice move. Does a lot of damage to Grookey. And Ice Body takes Snorunt out of the red. At this point, it's time to finally try catching in, hoping for the best. And yeah, breaks out immediately. Luckily, it doesn't go for an ice move yet, so we're still okay for another turn, but the Hail is going to constantly damage us each turn, bring us down to 4. And Ice Body is going to heal it every turn, making it even harder to catch. Go for another one though. And hopefully this one will be better, but nope, breaks out immediately again. It's amazing how difficult a Snorunt is to capture. I really didn't think Snorunt would be this hard to capture, but apparently it is. So at this point, Grookey's going to die to one more Hail, so we switch out to Yamper, because we're going to be trying to nuzzle it to hopefully paralyze it, make it a bit harder, make it a bit easier to capture. Assuming we hit it, because double team is going to be a thing. And Ice Body is going to constantly heal it up even more. And to be honest, any damage Nuzzle does will probably just be healed up immediately. But the paralysis is probably for the best. It goes for Astonish, which doesn't do a lot of damage. We do get lucky, and despite the double teams, hit the Snorunt with Nuzzle, which paralyzes it. But of course, Snorunt regains even more health from the Ice Body effect. Now that paralyzed and just below half health, well, I'm hoping that this is going to be enough to get the capture. And with 3 shakes, we get it. So we're now nearly 28 minutes into this episode. And yeah, team's looking pretty good. We've got a lot of experience from that. Grookey's now up to 14, Yamper and Nickit up to 12. And here Nickit's learning a new move, Snarl, which is a really useful move, 55 power. And because Nickit is better on special attack than attack, we obviously are going to we obviously want to learn that. We forget Tail Whip and learn Snarl, which gives Nickit a very nice move finally. Something better than Beat Up, which is very unreliable. Okay. So it's time to move on and see what other Pokemon we can get around here. But of course, for us, we have to heal up our team, because that Snorunt destroyed our team. We heal up Grookey and Yamper to full health. And it's time to move on. So we've got a bunch of Timpoles here. So it's time to take one of these guys on. Against sending Grookey. This Timpole is level 10. I could risk a grass move, but I was too worried about it killing it. And I don't think Timpole is the best defensively, so we go for Scratch. It does give us a Growl, which will probably help us in the long run, because it gives us a less chance of killing it. The Hail also damages Timpole, which is nice. We go for one more Scratch. Boom. Brings down to about the orange health, and it goes for Acid, which was really concerning, because Poison move. Didn't expect it to have it. At this point, we're not going to risk anything else. I think it's time to throw a ball and hopefully catch Timpole. Got a lot of Pokeballs still, which is nice. Glad I bought so many. Wasn't expecting to catch this many Pokemon so early, though. And boom. Another catch. Timpole's caught. Again, it's probably a good idea to capture all these guys, just because you get a lot of experience depending on the level and depending on the Pokemon you catch. And I think the point of these wild areas is that you're meant to capture a large amount of Pokemon. So yeah, that's obviously what we're doing. So we're looking around for some more Pokemon. Currently all we see is Ninjask and the Ice-type Pokemon we battled before. So it's time to finally move on, but it would be until we saw Vanillite show up. You know, the ice cream Pokemon that exists. This Pokemon's always been, or it has always been kind of weird to me. It's never Ice-type, but of course Grookey's in the front because why not? Luckily Vanillite's defense sucks, and one Razor Leaf damages it an insane amount. Or at least for me, at least, it damages it quite a lot. Vanillite also has the ability Ice Body, which means it's going to heal itself every turn. So it's time to just hope for the best and throw a ball. I don't think I've ever captured a Vanillite before, so I wasn't really sure how hard it would be to catch. Turned out to be, well, very easy. One Razor Leaf, one ball, and it was caught. Not a single problem there at all. And yep, even more experience, which we'll definitely be needing. Because we're now 4 parts in and we haven't faced a single gym or even heard of a gym. We haven't even entered into the gym challenge yet. We've only just got the endorsement. So yeah, time to move on at last. We're finally moving on past this little landmass area. We've caught all the Pokemon there is to capture. And it's time to actually progress on here. There is a Vanillux and a Gyarados and a Lapras around here in the water, and we trade 100 watts in for this big pearl, which can be sold in for a high price. Very nice. I think we're going to talk to a lot of NPCs around here to hopefully get more of those items, because I think they'll be very, very useful. So yeah, again, not too many new Pokemon around here. Mostly the same stuff. I think the weather in the wild area changes quite a lot. A Digger's Beast shows up right in front of me that we are going to avoid, because otherwise, you know, it's going to be a little too much. But here we have found some new friends. We got a couple new Pokemon to capture. First off being Snova. Snova's an Ice Grass type, which I've always wanted to use in a playthrough. I've always wanted to use a Snova, and even when we thought the hail was gone, Snova's Snow Warning ability summons it once again. And it's level 15, which is obnoxious. Because at this point I thought, you know, my team's finally getting some levels. Maybe they'll actually be able to out-level these Pokemon finally, or maybe be like par. Nope, this Snova manages to be higher level than me still. And it goes for Ice Shard, which does an insane amount of damage. Luckily it doesn't use it again, and we go for Snarl, which does nothing. Does manage to lower its special attack though, which could help. But yeah, Snova was a lot more of a challenge than I'd like to admit. Like, it was a really strong Pokemon. Luckily we did manage to get a couple Snarls on it, which is nice, and it just wastes turns by going for Mist, but doesn't change anything for me. It eventually finally goes for Ice Shard, which KOs Nickit again, which was a big shame. But yeah, so far this Snova is causing our team a lot of problems. So we're going to go into Yamper. Even though Nozzle won't do a lot of damage, it will paralyze it, which will give us a better shot at catching it, which I can definitely take. It goes for the Leer, which is just going to make Yamper basically impossible to survive any further attacks. But it's okay. This one Nuzzle does next to no damage, but does paralyze it, which of course we appreciate. The hail finally stops, and yeah, at this point it's time to just hopefully get lucky, because this Snova is going to destroy my team otherwise. So we get the one, and it breaks out immediately, and goes for Leaf Age, which does pretty much over half of Yamper's health. So yeah, currently the Snova is looking to sweep my entire team. Being level 15, having Ice and Grass moves, it's a little bit of a pain. Luckily, thank the Lord, we get really lucky and we catch it, which is really nice. And as you'd expect, we get a lot of experience. Yamper levels up to 13, Grookey to 15, and the other guys who we're not using just sort of there to level up and get Pokédex entries are leveling up also. So yeah, Snova's been captured, and hopefully that should be the end of all the insanely hard ones. We do have another Pokemon there to capture, but before we catch it, we have to heal up our team, because our team got wrecked there. And at this point, I'm realizing how low I am on potions. Like, I've had to use a lot more potions in this set of catches than I originally realized. Time to catch yet another new friend, Stuffle, who I realized recently has one of the most adorable cries in the Pokemon game. I wasn't actually aware of Stuffle's type. I think I've only ever battled them like maybe once or twice in Sun and Moon, so I didn't really know what type it was. I've always thought it was a normal type, but apparently it's a fighting type, which I've always found kind of cool. But I know from the anime how insane Beware is, and I know from its Pokedex entry, or from something that apparently Beware, its evolution's hug, it can kill a man, but we don't talk about that. Unfortunately, that Pokeball was not enough to capture it. Goes for Baby Doe Eyes, which I was actually kind of grateful for because we were going to go for a Scratch to try and weaken it a bit more, and basically ensure that we wouldn't kill it. We weaken itself a tad more, and we go for another Pokeball. Hopefully this thing will not cause us anywhere near as many problems as the Snova did. But so far, you know, it's proven me wrong, and that tackle did an insane amount of damage. Again, we try for another Pokeball and hope for the best. This time we get lucky and manage to catch it. So yeah, this episode's been going for 36 minutes so far. Why on earth did the first video that I had to post commentate over have to be the longest one in the series so far? Normal and fighting type. Okay, so I was half right. It was normal type, but I also realized it was also part fighting type, which I didn't realize until I caught it just then. Which is another reason why I'm kind of glad I'm catching all these guys, because, you know, I had no idea what any of these types were. I did just barely see a Oddish in the corner of my screen. However, I also ran into a Badoo, which came out of nowhere, which I appreciate, because Badoo's kind of cool. But I was really hoping to capture the Oddish, because I really like Oddish as a Pokemon. Oddish is one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite first stage Pokemon. I don't know why. I've used Oddish a fair bit, and I've grown attached to it, I guess. But Badoo is a fairly easy Pokemon to capture. It's kind of weak, so one Razor Leaf didn't do a lot of damage because obviously it was 4 times resistant, but its low defense made it do enough damage for me to be able to catch it. Get some cool experience, and you can see at this point that I'm starting to rush through it because I'm starting to realize how long this video is. And yeah, I just sort of wanted to spam through everything, and then we are able to capture our good pal Oddish. So we're sending Grookey once again. Grookey is adorable. The more I see Grookey, the more I just think it's actually a really cute Pokemon. Could go for Scratch, but we're going to do the same strategy we used on Badoo, which doesn't work as well on Oddish because of its high defense. It goes for Acid, which, yeah, kills me. So that was a mistake. So we gotta obviously send in someone else who can do decent damage, and obviously that is not Yamper. So the only other choice is Nickit, and hopefully this thing won't do severe damage towards Nickit. We go for Beat Up, which at this point I'm realizing that, you know, as it should, Beat Up only does damage depending on how many Pokemon are alive in the party. So this hits only 5 times, and yeah, I'm realizing how weak at this point Beat Up is as a move. So it's time to try catching this thing at the health it's at, because I really would like to get the experience onto Nickit to try and make Beat Up and Snarl and just it itself more useful. But of course, Oddish is having none of that and goes for Sweet Scent, which does nothing. It does make it easier for it to hit, like Poison Powder and such, which did just miss, so that is a little bit of a worry. Because I'd rather not have any more of my Pokemon getting status condition problems. That would be the last thing I need right now. Luckily, another Pokemon we catch it. Thank God. Alright. Grookey gets no experience, but Nickit levels up, which is very nice. And, of course, Squirtle and Tudor also level up, but we're not using them as teammates, so that doesn't matter. No nickname for Oddish, and setting it to the box, and it's, as you can see, we are nearing the end of the wild area finally, and we've barely even gone through, we've barely even started to go through it properly. Like we've only really gone in a straight line. There's a lot of this wild area that still remains untouched. But moving on, we've pretty much caught everything at this point, and we found a note that says the wild is overflowing with a special spot of energy, which is obviously the Pokemon density that we've already experienced. And yeah, as it's also saying that we'll find trainers in the wild area who are willing to give us items, but we already know about that. So we're just checking around to see if there's any other places around here which have Pokemon, but nothing does. And this person says that they have a lot of cash and they're wondering why no one wants to take them on. So we decide to battle them because obviously we're money hungry and we need more, and we need more items. And this woman has all three of the starters. So they've got Grookey, they've got Grookey, they got Score Bunny, and they have Sobble. So we have a nice Grookey on Grookey battle here. Mine's level 15, so hopefully it realistically should be better. And we can obviously tell by the damage outputs that it is doing a little better than her Pokemon. But that Growl will make things a tad more difficult. Go for one more Scratch. Brings it down to about the orange health, and it also goes for Scratch. I mean, this is basically as much of a mirror match as you can get. The only difference is that I'm 2 levels higher. And that 2 levels does come in handy. This thing goes for pretty much every move in its existence move pile, as we finish it off with one more Scratch, which is very much necessary. Gain quite a bit of experience from that because obviously it's a starter Pokemon and it's level 13. And next up is Score Bunny. And we haven't actually faced Score Bunny at all yet, so this is a brand new one for me. I haven't even seen Score Bunny in the game yet, so this is brand new. So Score Bunny gets sent out in a minute here. We're going to send Nickit to try and take it on. And at this point, yeah, I've never faced it at this point, so I have no idea really what to go for. But it goes for Growl, immediately counteracting the strategy I was going for, which was Home Claws. You know me, I like to try and set up my team before I actually go into battle. But at that point I decided, you know, if this thing's just going to use nothing but Growl, I'm just going to go in and just go for Snarl and see how much damage it does. Ember doesn't do too much damage luckily, and Snarl... at this point I'm realizing just how powerful Snarl is as a move, and yeah, it's just a tad better than Beat Up. Just a tad. Quick Attack does a fair bit of damage from Score Bunny though, but nothing that Nickit can't handle. And at this point its special attack is falling a lot, which means that if it ever uses Ember, it won't do much damage. That Quick Attack does 11 damage to me though, but luckily at this point Score Bunny is already so weak that it cannot take another Snarl. And another set of experience to our team. Finally it's Sobble's time, and of course for Sobble, we're going to send in the starter Pokemon that's strong against Sobble. We're going to send in Grookey. Grookey is on half health, but I don't think that should change much. Sobble is not the best Pokemon at the moment because obviously Razor Leaf, as we found out from Hop's team, is super effective and one-shots it. I think this is the first one-shot I've actually done. I don't know if I've actually ever one-shotted something before, but anyway, this does get the one-shot. Levels up Yamper and Grookey to 14 and 16 respectively. And the Pokemon Breeder goes down, and I'm apparently a Wild Area expert. And at this point, it's time. Our first evolution in the Galar region. After 43 minutes of training our team and catching a bunch of Pokemon, we get ourselves an evolution, and Grookey evolves into Thwackey. I'm probably pronouncing that completely wrong, but I actually really like Thwackey. It's a really cool Pokemon. Looks like it's a drummer, which I really like. And after seeing its Pokédex entry, I was correct. It is indeed a drummer Pokemon. It's the beat Pokemon. And I actually really like Thwackey. I saw some people say they don't really like Grookey's second evolution a lot, like the middle one, which is obviously Thwackey. But I personally kind of like it. I also was spoiled by its final evolution a little bit, so I do roughly know what it looks like. Which is a tad, which kind of sucks, but it's not a huge deal. So yeah, we're going to get rid of Scratch here, and we're going to learn Double Hit. You know, it's just a better normal type move in general, and will help us out a lot in the long run. So yeah, at this point, it's time that we can finally move on through the wild area and get to the end. But I think we'll save that for next time, because this has been a long video. We got ourselves an evolution, we caught ourselves a bunch of new friends, and next time we're finally going to enter Wedgehurst and see just what awaits us at the gym entry. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.